Welcome to Ecom Cowboy. This is D2C's daily show brought to you by Seguno and Postscript and AMP. And we are coming to you live from the epicenter of e-commerce hidden in the hills of Austin, Texas. It is Tuesday, February 17th. 2026, the year of our Lord, and this is going to be a jam-packed show today. American Eagle's creator playbook has been rolled out, and I think you will find there is one shocking factor amidst all of it. We're going to get into it. This comes to us from an article via Adweek. Has Gen Z perfected the art of boredom as entertainment? Spoiler alert, it's about nothing. I feel like we're watching Seinfeld all over again. It's a show about nothing, and this form of content perhaps is something you should embrace, both for yourself and for your brand. And if the new status symbol of wealth is having a large family, what does that mean for brands in our space, and how can they lean in to making parenthood feel effortless? Matthew Holman, the subscription doctor, is going to join us on the show and talk all things subscription. As always, I am joined by my partner in crime, Colin Doherty. Colin, get in here. Get in here, sir.
Let's go.
I'm so thankful that you are here. And I don't know where your clap is. I don't know, but you deserve it. There it is.
Got to make your own clap.
Sometimes you got to make your own kind of music. You got to make your own kind of song. Wise woman said that one day and put it in a song, and we have never forgotten it. American Eagle's creator program Playbook has been dropped for us, and I just want to highlight something right here, specifically in this title. This is from Adweek. Why American Eagle rebuilt its creator program to find Gen Z shoppers. More than 900 creators signed up within 11 days. What is this title? I don't know why American Eagle needs to find Gen Z shoppers. One would think they have been doing that already. One would think. I don't think they have been selling outside of the teenage, early 20s demographic very much for the last decade or two. I don't know why they need to find Gen Z shoppers, but apparently they do. Let's dig into this article. I want to read some of it for you. And Carson, you should pull this up live if you can. Why American Eagle rebuilt its creator program. The Gen Z-focused retailer recently launched the AE Creator Community, a program aimed at opening up the floodgates of creators for American Eagle to promote the brand's products. While American Eagle has worked with creators in the past, the new push is aimed at building longer-term relationships with creators. Last year, American Eagle launched an affiliate program called Live Your Life that allowed creators to earn discounts, access to new products on top of receiving commissions. Okay, very good. Why last year? I don't know why this just happened last year. I underscore again, why is this a new thing? I don't understand, but let's keep reading. It's designed to expand the effort by gamifying the affiliate process for creators. Again, awesome. Why is this only happening now? Creators earn points that can be redeemed for American Eagle gift cards and products in exchange for posting social content about the brand. Creators can also earn points by competing monthly challenges. For every 1,000 points, creators receive $1 in product from American Eagle. In one example, creators who posted a haul video showing all the products they recently purchased received 1,500 points. They go on to delineate a number of people who have participated. To qualify for the program, creators need to live in the U.S. I think these are good parameters. Be 18 years or older and have at least 1,000 followers on one social platform. If that barrier seems low, that is the point. Now, I like this. If that barrier seems low, that is the point. And I lost my place, but I shall find it again. The goal, she said, is to amass a large number of micro influencers as opposed to a smaller number of creators with large followings. This program really is focused on scale. They also have big affiliate marketing platform ShopMy and LTK. My big question here, Colin, is why is this new? Why is this new?
Yeah.
One would think they should have been doing this from times untold since the internet was a thing right after I
Yeah.
graduated college. What's your take when you read this?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give them a little bit of you got to give them some grace here. It's a publicly traded company, so things take a little bit longer to get through the bureaucracy of it all. They have to push through so many different approval processes. This probably took 8 different guys approving this and signing off on the next level. They also had to put the program intentionally together around Gen Z, and so I think there's a lot of nuance to this where the fact that they're intentionally going after Gen Z and targeting Gen Z on this kind of paid per performance model is really great. And they're focusing on scale. So it's a bit of a takeover. And I also like that they're trying to establish the creators for a longer relationship. This isn't just a pay one time, you get one post. It's really establishing a blanket over social media and ideally probably TikTok with these creators. And it's good. I mean, you'll see how this sprinkles out probably within the next 6 months, and then really see how this affects Q4 and how directly that's correlated with sales in Q4 with American Eagle.
Brother, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if we can sprinkle grace on this one. Of course, I am all for grace. Okay.
Sure.
But Gen Z is almost out of here, man. Gen
Sure.
Alpha is already 16 years old. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, you know, they got to be 18 years or older, so Gen Alpha can't participate yet. But I mean, how long? How long have we been sitting on this thing? This to me feels like an asleep at the wheel type moment. Now, I'm not trying to place blame on anybody, but what I would say on the other end, at least for those of us who don't have to deal with large amounts of bureaucracy, perhaps, and several rounds of approval, this is the kind of thing that should have been in place 5 years ago, at
Oh, for
least.
sure.
At least this should have been
Yeah.
already in place 5 years ago. Now, obviously, they're doing great things. The Sydney Sweeney campaign, she's at the New York Stock Exchange ringing the bell and all the things. Obviously, they are going in the right direction. Abercrombie and Fitch, which is their older brother, is crushing and up and to the right. Their stock is doing awesome right now. But I don't know. This should have been in place a long time ago. This feels late to me. It feels very late.
As they always say, better late than never. I think Sydney Sweeney was probably the crux of American Eagle kind of waking up and realizing they need to hit Gen Z even more. And, I think there's a lot of folks at the company specifically that kind of decide how this ship is moving forward. And it sucks. We come from speedy startups where there's one,
Speed,
maybe
baby.
two level of bureaucracy, and you're like, can we get this done and out the door? Where they probably had to pull out an existing program, rip that out, make the argument that this wasn't working, and then say, hey, we're going to replace this. We're going to do a pitch to it. We're going to do a pitch to the shareholders. We're going to get everybody on board. We're going to get the CMO. We got to loop in the CEO. So I understand, it's taking a while, but that Sydney Sweeney, success has able to let them go into this direction a little bit quicker than most folks. I don't see any other folks that are publicly traded companies rolling any of these other programs out.
You don't?
No, hit me with some.
I don't have any.
That's what I'm saying.
In my mind, this is like call it D2C 2.0. Okay, it's not
Sure.
level 1. Okay, it's not level 1. But at a certain point here, I think it's like Josh told us on Friday, you get about $6 million per year. Fair to say, American Eagle's there. Okay. You get about $6 million per year. You need to start working with
Yeah.
a very solid roster. He said, take 100 creators and boom. Okay. Well, I think American Eagle is there. And surely they've been working with influencers over the time and had great successes like Sydney Sweeney. But this kind of thing, I mean, it just feels like we're so late in the game for this. Better late than never. But I feel this to me is great encouragement for everybody inside of our space because there's been great examples on the software side of literally an intern using AI to get 500 influencers for
Yeah.
said launch and go kaboom. And
Yeah.
so I think if there are people like that innovating and moving fast in our space, if you can get a notch or two on your belt and show, hey, here's what I did, here are the results, you can probably go to a legendary player inside of our space like American Eagle and say, hey, this is good, especially for 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, let me show you what's 2026, and here's the roadmap for 2027. To me, this gives me great encouragement for the
Yeah.
operators inside of our space who are already executing at this level on a much lower scale of revenue. I want to see more in this direction, and I
Yeah.
want to see somebody. I want to see a Superman marketer in the sub $200 million per range D2C level take whatever they're doing and go get paid bukus to do this on an enterprise level with a player like American Eagle. Could you see something
Yeah.
like that happening?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these legacy players are also used to coming top down. So they're used to, hey, we're going to land Brad Pitt for a campaign. We're going to get Jennifer Aniston for a campaign. It's going to be very highbrow. It's going to be a massive, massive name. We're going to get like one or two of these a year. We're going to roll out an official campaign. It's going to be worldwide. It's going to be in Europe. It's going to be in America. We're going to do print. We're going to do advertising. We're going to do long form commercial. And so you have these legacy players where this is the traditional playbook that's worked for them. And to break that and shake that up and say, hey, we don't want to really do that anymore. We really want to focus on 1,000 micros of Gen Z. And then maybe we'll get a couple semi A-list influencers and maybe some micro and macro influencers in there instead. You're kind of flipping the playbook over for these legacy players. And there's some that have done this already really well, but there's obviously a ton in the space that could really do this well again. And a great example is the PacSun job that we talked about last week. Great example for that. You could come in, run this playbook, kind of try to pitch this, but again, very corporate, very bureaucratic. So you'd have to really push some stuff forward.
Just listen to this insight as we move away from this article here. I think you'll agree with this. This is from Shapiro, who is at American Eagle. On certain platforms, you see that creator-led content performs much higher than brand-led content.
I
Yeah,
like it.
that's right. It does. It does. It does.
I like it from a better perspective where I'm thinking of it from a paid media standpoint, where if I get 1,000 accounts to whitelist for all the ads instead, that's really interesting to me because everybody knows
Yeah.
whitelisted accounts are just dropping the
Well,
CPMs in half and
well,
CPCs in half.
this is the thing is that I think this wakes us up to the reality that not everybody knows this.
Oh no, we're a niche of a niche that like
You know,
we've been executing in this kind of bubble of just crushing executors who are just knowing all the tricks and tips. And these huge legacy guys, you talk to them about whitelisting 100 creators for a 3-month period, and they're like, "What? What do you
wow,
mean?
wow.
We just have Brad Pitt."
It's critical, quote, it's critical for us to start thinking about content as commerce. Yes, it is.
There you
Yes,
go.
it is. I agree. And somebody needs to take this as signal and go show the notches they have on their belt and go get them be a Superman marketer this year and go get you a heavily paid job at a legacy brand next year. I
Yeah,
think that is fair.
Levi's.
Levi's. Hey, how about Levi's? Yeah,
Be a great
especially
one.
with their new rosé campaign that's going on everywhere. Okay,
Yeah,
now just blow that up times 10
yeah.
with 10,000 micro influencers after that.
There you go.
Before we get to our good friend Matthew Holman, who will be joining us here shortly, we should talk about AMP. We should talk about AMP. If you can't explain, ladies and gentlemen, how your business is doing in a sentence or two or a single dashboard, I'm not sure you know how your business is doing. Don't you want to scale with confidence in 2026? I believe that you do. I do as well. The wonderful thing about AMP and their favorite tool of mine, Lifetimely, is that they make this readily, concisely possible. All of your crucial metrics, CAC, LTV, how we're trending toward forecast, all of those things, easy, explainable, findable, not lost, amidst spreadsheets hither and thither inside of your team. If you go to useamp.com, you can get on that platform, use Lifetime, and get all the other tools for free. And what they are doing with their AI is truly, truly what I see as finding profit inside of your business. That AI is going to be prompting you rather than you prompting it. Okay, this cohort, this product, cut this one, let's test this offer, etc. Isn't that what we need in 2026 in the era of the Superman marketer? Yes, we do. Go to useamp.com, test drive that platform, and save yourself some headaches and make it easy on yourself. Okay, go to useamp.com. Many thanks for them being part of the show. Now, I don't believe Matthew has joined us yet. And Carson, I think what you should do is probably go check my DMs right now, because he may be struggling to get inside of the show. That actually may be what's happening literally right now. But while we are waiting on him, let's move forward. Let's move forward and talk about this next story that comes to us from one of my favorite Substackers. This guy, Eugene Healy, he is mega smart, man. Every time I read this guy's stuff, I feel like he's got alpha for us that all of our community needs to read, consider, and think about. And his take here, he's been doing this series on post-luxury status symbols, and I am really impressed by them. And what he is telling us here is that amidst other post-luxury status symbols, the next one is having a big family, which I don't think that much of us would have considered 5-10 years ago. Is that fair?
For
I
sure.
mean, would you have oh yeah, children is the thing that shows that I'm wealthy. Would you have thought that, Colin?
Absolutely not, but I totally agree with it now. This is an exceptional point.
Okay, let's read this together. Actually, Colin, why don't you read this for us as we get into it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the idea of a big family being low status is a holdover from a time no longer exists. Most human history, motherhood and fatherhood, were deliberate life projects, which they are now. A cultural script running on autopilot, large families signaling a lack of survival strategy. You didn't time the market on your family or calculate your career capital to absorb the shock of a newborn. You just had them. Now it's the exact opposite. Having a big family has become, in some ways, the ultimate status symbol because it requires several forms of privilege operating simultaneously.
Isn't that true? Isn't that
so
true? If you're going to have a big family today, you need several stacks of things working in your favor in order to have that. You need what? You need help. You know, either it's coming from grandma and grandpa, or it's coming from a nanny,
an au pair,
an even fancier word for the same thing, right? Do you want a nanny or do you want an au pair? You probably want an au pair. Okay,
au pair lives with you.
Yeah, exactly. Which means you got extra living space.
There you go.
You know, you either got a wing for them in the mansion, or you got something out back. You know, got a little mini house there for a casita,
a cottage.
Exactly. A cottage. You know, there's a number of ways to play this, but it's being able to have this and not just have it, but make it look effortless. I want to read some more here that he was getting into. On a deeper layer, it's not just about having children, it's about maintaining your pre-parenthood lifestyle whilst having them. Okay. I like this. Is a great point that he is bringing up here. It's about maintaining your pre-parenthood lifestyle whilst having them, still seeing friends, still showing up at clubs or events, not being exhausted all the time. I think anybody who knows somebody that has small children knows. Okay, dark circles under the eyes, lost a few hours of sleep. Not wearing clothes with a little bit of baby puke on them. Given the heightened expectations around wealth codes and their subtleties, the market has already responded with alternatives to maintain that lifestyle for a price, obviously. Baby water Pilates, raves with kid-safe headphones, 17-course omakase, fine dining with your 5-year-old. The performance completes itself when parents insist their children's style must harmonize with their own. I find this fascinating. I find it fascinating, number one, just on the cultural development, cultural transformation over the past 5 years,
Yeah.
over the past 10 years. I find that fascinating, number one. Number two, what he is getting at here, it resonates with me. It resonates with me. If one can show up, look at my plethora of children, and one can still show up, look at me dressed well, and
Yeah.
one can show up in their normative social experiences and rituals that they like. We go to the club, we see our friends, we have house parties, even though we have all these children running around. Look, my house is maintained to a good degree. It's still nice and neat and all the things. This to me really resonates. Yeah, that is luxury. That is status in 2026. And my question is how can brands lean into that and own that in a way that obviously makes them money and makes the parent feel, yes, my experience is a degree or two more in the direction that I wanted before I had these blessed children who are now on my hands. We
Yeah.
can integrate those experiences together, and I feel like I'm on the upper crust. I'm on the rise. I'm not getting left behind in the perma underclass that so many have spoken about. Do you have any thoughts on this? How brands can lean into it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just someone that does not have kids. I can only take my perspective from this, so I won't try to impose my perspective as someone who has kids on this. Um, I think it's really interesting where you know you have to look at how expensive it is to have children and how much this shifts the actual household entirely because you have to figure out all the things you just mentioned. So you have to figure out, the nannies, you have to figure out help. Maybe that's, grandma and grandpa. But I think a lot of folks are now focusing more on, okay, I've gotten into my career really aggressively. I want to wait now even more. And there's a huge statistics that's come out where basically the more affluent couples are waiting even longer to have children in order to make sure that they can save up for all the things that the child's going to need. Whether that's you want to go send them to private school, you want to send them to private camp, you want to send them to tennis camp, you want to send them to all these things. And so it's become a real preparation, and the cost of living is not really helping this at all. So it's a really interesting dichotomy that's going on right now where it is a luxury status symbol to have kids because you're saying I also have the disposable income in order to raise my child in a proper way while also maintaining all of this facade that you see before me that's everybody loves and sees. And so I think it's really interesting. I think brands should just lean into the fact that, parents also want to have this downtime outside of their children. Like, I think that that's going to be a big thing where you have to have the unplug time, the non screen time. And I think a lot of parents in my generation and probably maybe before me and maybe a little bit after me are going to try to focus a little bit less on the screen time for the kids because we've just been seeing how this is affecting everybody. So I would say some non-screen activities for brands.
This reminds me of the kits that Oren John is always referencing inside of his Twitter feed for his 9-year-old.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of non-screen activity kits.
Yeah.
Mark Rober, infamous YouTuber,
Yeah.
and his kits that help your child get into engineering and see
Yeah.
engineering as fun. I'll also reminds me of that toy we saw at CES this year, who
Yes.
that won
Yes.
for it got the award for being most creative and new and what it's doing. And it's allowing children to learn multiple languages without a screen. They can still take that little AI enabled buddy and throw it up against the wall if they wanted, and it still works, and it's comfortable to hold. You know, the thing about au pairs and about nanny help is that a lot of times there's this kind of thought about that nanny helping the kid learn another language and speak another language. And so this kind of fits in that theme of my child can have an international type experience, even if I don't have full-time help living inside of my house. I think another trend that would be interesting to think about is and not like this isn't already unexplored, but leaning into this even more with photography inside of your feed, etc., is making women's clothes that look good and that feel great and that also are largely stain resistant. I just talked with a personal friend of mine who has created a startup. She actually comes from the like large house fashion world. She's in New York. We actually need to have her on the show. And she is developing a whole line of women's wear while the mother is pregnant that allows them to feel fashionable. That cloth and its technicalities can hold up amidst all of the normalcies of daily life with small children. I think there's something in this vein as well that just enables that mother to look like she used to or still desires to outside of that new motherhood experience. I think there's something there too.
I love that. I also think there is the question for my generation and for new parents. This is going to be the question for defining a generation for new kids. And this question is, at what point are you going to introduce your child to AI?
Yeah.
And that's so serious.
It is.
But
it is.
At what point are you going to say, hey, buddy, you can go hang out with Gemini Pro for a little bit? Or, hey, buddy, go hang out with Claude Code for a little bit. Let's go do a lesson.
Exactly.
But what's going to happen is we're going to start to see two timelines kind of sprinkle out. We're going to see the kid that is over-indexed extremely early on with AI from a very young age. We're going to see how he develops socially, economically, mentally. We're going to see all these things emotionally. And then we're also going to see the other timeline of this branch where parents are like, hey, we need to hold off. Let's maybe do kind of the cell phone deal. Let's wait till they're 15, 16, 17, 18. We don't know what happens. We've never had this thing before where we don't know. We don't know.
We don't know. It's true.
Yeah. We don't know the right answer.
We don't know. I will say with the right applications, and maybe it's too far gone and too fast developing now for this really even to be a question. But I'll say some of the early results, specifically with a school here in the Austin area, and there are other places as well, but this specific program, an AI tutor, is rolling out to other places inside of Texas. The Alpha School, and those kids, they are taught by their AI tutor 2 hours a day. They are guaranteed by their 8th grade year to have a 1350 or higher SAT score. And they are in the 99th percentile of literally every single testing objective you can give them. I mean, this is like,
and that's middle school?
No, this is happening now. This is
happening. Is it grade wise? Is it middle school grade?
No, it's elementary and it's junior high and it's high school. And
kindergartners involved.
Yeah, and they are. They're getting involved now, and they are learning to dink and dunk with their AI tutor for 2 hours a day. And then they're doing other things. They're actually involved in a sprint right now to use Claude Code to build a business. I forget if this was 4th graders or if it was 5th graders, but they're using Claude Code to build a business that must make X amount of money inside of 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, this is like literally.
I want you to read that sentence again, because that sentence is the most 2026 sentence in the entire world. We're figuring out We're going to give Claude Code to fourth graders, and they need to produce a six-figure business within 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And if they
This,
don't, they're gone. They're out of the program.
this is what's happening right now. So
Yeah.
maybe in a few more years, maybe there's no question everybody's using AI, and maybe they're using it in a smarter way. But interesting to say the least. And I think everybody needs to find a way to get in, frame themselves as, hey, our product, your family, post luxury status, large families, your life can look like this because of our involvement, etc. I think there's a lot of things to pay attention to there and get
just wait for the 13-year-old to build a 8-figure business, and he needs his mom to sign off on the exit opportunity because he's not 18 yet.
Yeah. Mommy's got to sign off on it. Mommy's got to sign off on that one. Okay, before our next story, let's talk about Seguno. Seguno is the only marketing suite, ladies and gentlemen, that lives entirely inside of Shopify. Why is that important? That is important because your emails and your reviews and your banners and all of the things, they're already there where you live and work every day. That's important because you don't have to trust some kind of duct taped integration that you hope your data is syncing correctly. Your Shopify data is the data. Okay, this is email 3.0. And if you don't have a full-time email marketer on your team, Seguno was built for you. It was built for lean teams with big aspirations. That's why we love them. That's why they got Shopify's 2024 Build App of the Year. Okay, we are going to have CEO Chris on the show this week. He is steeped in email lore when it comes to e-commerce. If you go to seguno.com, they will give you a free trial. If you tell them Colin I sent you, they'll extend that free trial to 30 days. So go to Seguno, test drive that platform, get yourself a free trial. Many thanks for them being part of the show. Colin, next here, I'd love to dive in to this juicy story that we have. Gen Z has perfected the glorious art of boredom as entertainment. And this reminds me so much of Seinfeld. I don't know why it does, other than Seinfeld is supposed to be a show about nothing. And this comes to us from Casey Lewis. I believe that's her name. I love this Substacker as well. Casey Lewis, her Substack's called After School, and she's always highlighting trends specifically related to Gen Z. I want to read this for us here. The biggest audiences on the internet's newest platforms are gravitating toward just chatting, a live streaming format on Kick where a person simply sits in front of a camera and talks to viewers for 4 to 8 hours with no guests, no segments, and no script. The format traces a direct lineage from Art Bell's Coast to Coast AM to Ginny Cam in 1996 to reality TV's 24-hour live feeds, all built on the appeal of someone else's ordinary life. It's the boring parts that create the connection, the silence, the tangents, the scrolling Wikipedia pages, because the nothing is what makes the something feel real. After decades of media getting louder and more engineered, Catherine D. writes that this return to ambient, unstructured content might be the most hopeful thing I've seen in years. The hottest content format right now, apparently, is nothing. It's doing nothing and nothing happening. I don't know exactly what to think about this, but I see it on TikTok all the time. It's literally a person sitting in front of their phone and interacting with the comments. What's your take on this? I know this may, I may be dating myself, but this strikes me as a little odd.
Yeah, I think the current generation is a little tired of how buttoned up Instagram was, with all the filters, all of the tanning, all the things that you could do a couple years ago. That was the standard, where you would just Instagram Facetune the filter to the max and everyone was kind of not real. And so this is the parallel push to that. This is the total, hey, I hate all of that. Show me the person, show me their in-between time. Show me the time that's not filtered. Show me them just hanging out. Like, I want to see the true person. And I love this. I think this is really important. And I love the fact that we're pushing away from a more polished angle of things and more of that, like, I want to say kind of like a Casey Neistat documentary style where it feels real. Like you feel like you're engaging with a friend, or you're just kind of meeting the local friend from, downstairs who owns a coffee shop, blah, blah, blah. I love this, and I really want it to be more in 2026. I want less buttoned up stuff. I want more real gritty stuff.
Maybe I'm contradicting my own points that I have propagated on this show many times with Truman Show brands and always being alive, etc. But it feels to me, just sitting in front of the camera and interact, it feels a little odd for me. Maybe I just need to get into it myself. Maybe I should get into it myself. And maybe if brand founders, especially founder forward brands who have really leaned in on the founder telling their story and being available, present inside their organic social feed, etc., maybe there's real credence to them literally just jumping on the stream and talking to whatever comments may come up. I think that, the risk thing is like, what if they get on there and nobody comes, nobody says anything? You bring up this interesting point about Casey Neistat. I think the magic with Casey Neistat is that the guy is like actually a killer creator and director, and he made content every day that looked effortless, but actually you step behind the screen, actually it's very effortful, without his diligence, without his work ethic, without his insight. Set up this shot here, go there, do that. The content wouldn't have been as compelling and as winsome, I believe. I think part of the magic was he made it look effortless. I do see this point, this other side with the proliferation of AI and truly native, low res, human forward content. I see it. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure how many founders would jump in on this today and do it for their brand. Maybe if there was an associated creator who was already in this kind of realm, and maybe they do something collaborated together. I could see something like that. You think that would be more approachable for brands? I think that something like that could work.
Well, I mean, you look at China already, and all Alibaba manufacturers already do this. So if you're trying to go and look at Alibaba manufacturers, they're going live and they're fielding questions, but it's just them at a desk, and it's just them in the factory, and they're just like, "Hello, yeah, go on Alibaba right now. I can promise you, you'll find a ton of them. I can promise you."
On Alibaba right now.
You can just scroll through it the same way you would for a TikTok feed, and you can interact with all these manufacturers selling traditional stuff that we use in e-commerce. And I think it's slowly pushing the other way. You made the point of like, what happens if nobody tunes in? Okay. You're in the same spot you were in like 15 seconds ago. I don't know what you want me to tell you. You were in the same spot you were in 15 seconds ago, but you signal to the algorithm, I'm making the effort that you want to go live. And also the algorithm wants people to go live. So reward me with more reach and reward my previous posts with more reach as well, which is happening.
So let me ask, is that the case though, as far as the algo is concerned? Like if you are going live, I mean, is the algo actually going to push everything else? I mean, I think it should. I think it does. Maybe they're a little different, when you slice it, Instagram and TikTok. But this is an interesting point you bring up. I need to get on Alibaba a little more. I try to avoid that place, to be honest.
It's so fun.
I try to avoid Alibaba. But if there are manufacturers over in China and other places that are, I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see that content.
It's the best, but it's just very bbasic stuff. It's just them at their desks, or it's them in the factory talking about the product. And then they have the product listed up there where it's like, hey, I'm a box manufacturer. I'm talking about these type of shipping boxes, blah, blah, blah. Do you have any questions? It's very broken down, and they're just trying to do their sales there. But it makes sense because the value of a sale for a B2B that you could potentially hit is massive. So there's a ton of uphill for them, upside for them, not uphill, upside for them to win from this just by going live. And it takes no effort.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it does take some effort. Because I see how much effort I put into this show.
Yeah,
but I agree. Upside. tremendous upside.
Tremendous upside. Ryan Serhant just sold a $50 million house on Instagram Live.
No, he did?
Yeah, just from going live. And his whole entire Serhant studio is about content. And we're going to always be live on content. We're always going to be pushing out a bunch of content all the time. We're going to be a studio machine. Oh, and by the way, they just got a bunch of capital funding because this is the path forward. They're crushing it.
Well, I would like to return to this topic because I find that compelling. If one can sell a $50 million house on Instagram Live, perhaps we should be on Instagram Live as well.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Perhaps. A very important person has just entered the show. He is the subscription doctor. And I'm talking about the one and only Matthew Holman. And he's going to talk to us about if subscription is so powerful, why aren't so many more brands taking advantage of it? And how can they do that tactically and practically? We want to gain that wisdom. And really, he's given us a little mini masterclass on the game that we'd all like to reap from. Everybody, welcome to the show. Matthew Holman, the subscription doctor. Matthew, get in here. Boy.
It's incredible applause, man. Like, that's amazing. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
You are deserving of that. You are deserving of that.
Oh, yeah.
You're deserving of that, sir. And, both in Colin's room right now and my room, there are hundreds of people that are surrounding us. You just can't see them, but that's where that applause was
I keep them
from.
low, and then when they need to come back up again to start, we do. They're down right now, and we'll keep it that way unless you do something awesome.
That's right. Matthew, I love what you do because you are the only person that I know in my entire network who focuses entirely on subscription businesses and how to make this work so that we all can get that juicy LTV, lower that CAC, and make e-commerce work in a practical way. Brother, you're the only one that I know who is doing this. Give us all some background, man, your experience in e-commerce and how you got focused singularly on this one thing.
It's kind of random because I was working at a subscription app. I'm a co-founder of a subscription app called Autoship Cloud. We were on WooCommerce, so WooCommerce exclusively.
Wow.
And we're working on our Shopify app, a couple years ago. And so, like most people, we start a newsletter, right, to try to gear up interest. And the newsletter started to do really well because there really aren't any other subscription-focused newsletters out there. But a lot of the feedback was like, hey, cool, you have an app, but can you just help me figure out my existing subscription program?
Yeah.
And so what we kind of found out was like, hey, there's a huge gap in the knowledge base here. And so I started doing more of that. We did a podcast. And then finally with my business partner, I'm like, look, I'm an okay B2B SaaS marketer. I'm a killer consultant in this space, what we're doing for our own customers. So we shifted. So we have still the Autoship Cloud still up and running, but prescriptions, what I've been primarily focused on for the last few years is building up a consultancy and working with brands, regardless of whatever platform you're on, it doesn't matter. We work with them all on growing subscriptions.
Wow.
I really like that. Your platform agnostic approach. Much of my career has been inside of Shopify, but I think that the majority of websites out there are still on WordPress and WooCom. Is that right?
Yep.
Crazy.
If you think about, there's a million businesses out there that are selling just the most random things you could ever think of, whether it's a membership or a newsletter or access to something. Yeah. And still D2C, and they're on WordPress and WooCommerce. You have a lot of brands in Magento, Salesforce, I met a brand last year at Sub Summit doing 100,000 subscription orders a month on air filters, and they're on Salesforce. So
wow,
yeah,
wild.
That's
wild.
Crazy, man.
Are you?
Go ahead, Colin.
I was just going to say, so obviously you see a lot of the subscription darlings right now that everybody talks about. Some of the big ones that everyone talks about: Gruns, Athletic Greens. Are there any folks that you see within the whole sphere? Maybe it could be some of those folks the one you just mentioned, where nobody's talking about these guys, but more people should be, where they really nailed it. And it's just like, everybody's talking about these couple right here, but somebody really needs to take a hard look at these.
Two brands that have been like doing it for a while and doing it really, really well would be Human, Humann. They do heartbeats, heart shoes. So they have like an older audience. So they're not necessarily super glamorous, but they're really, really effective in how they do offer testing and how they work on LTV and retention. And then another one would be My Freebird. They're one of the first brands we ever audited. And they're an electric head shaver, and they sell the replacement heads. They sell the replacement heads on a subscription. And I think they as well, they like to fly a little bit under the radar because they're worried about, they're in a really competitive space, but they do an incredible job on balance. Because ultimately the biggest question is like, what is the amount that I can sell my upfront product for that's going to allow me to get in enough people that I can then keep on the right length of time to unlock so we can talk average revenue, but it's really about top line, like revenue and profitability. So if I get 100 subscribers that stick around for 6 months, or if I get 50 subscribers that stick around for 12 months, that's the same, right? But our cash payback would be better with the 6 months. If I can do an offer that gets me, 50 people in or 55 people in for 12 months, now the math starts to get a little tricky, right? So figuring out that balance, how many people can I get in, on what dollar value, and how long do they stay? So it's like a 3-part equation. And those are brands that do a really great job of doing that.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned Human with 2 N's, because I've seen them like on football stadiums. I mean, I've seen them a lot of places. I've always had no clue what they are and what they do. But you bring up this interesting point about this, kind of 3-pronged math problem. It seems to me, and I've only ever thought on the offer side, the initial entrance into your subscription program, I have only really ever thought about that as like, golly, we got to give up more margin. Okay, everything's for free. Now it's 80% off. That's like the only way that it has largely entered into my mind. But give us more juice on the offer side. Is there a way to structure this thing such that you can actually lower CAC and also juice up your LTV?
Yeah, the brand that I'll put a little extra love on too, they're a little bit smaller, but we've worked with a lot. So, and I know their founder is okay with me sharing some information, is Respire. They sell in the AU, UK, and the US, and they do sleep strips, mouth strips, and nose strips. And so what's really compelling is they, in fact, I've used their design to build a template on Replo for how they do their offer strategy. So if you really want quick plug, if you use Replo, like go search for subscription template, and you'll see a PDP you can start playing it. The idea is if you start offering different options, so the trick is this is a question I always ask, is like, which is better to be good at in subscriptions, retention or acquisition? And a lot of people think it's retention, and you hire an email agency or somebody else. But when you're really good at subscriptions, you actually can lower CAC, improve AOV, and get people that buy at a sense that already has LTV baked into it. And how that works is figuring out the right mechanism for getting people to buy more at once. So if I can get you, so like the very simplest thing is like, let's say I have a 1st-month churn problem. I got a lot of people that coming in. Okay, well, if I can start selling a 3-month subscription for 3 months supply of product, I fixed my 1st-month churn problem. So
that's a good point.
And I'm oversimplifying it, but the trick is you look at some of these formats, it's like, hey, you can buy 1 bag for 1 month, 2 bags for 2 months, or 3 bags for 3 months. Now we're getting into a space where it's not just in this race to the bottom discounting game where I'm trying to like give away all this margin. I'm actually finding a method where if I can sell you 3 months worth of subscription, that's actually cheaper to ship than it is to ship 3 times individually, right? It costs me maybe $10 or $12 to ship instead of $8 or 24 by 3 times, right? I'm getting cash up front for 3 months, so I don't have to wait. So my cash to conversion cycle improves. I can immediately take those 3 months. So there's actually more margin in the business can afford to give away. If you look at Human's example, what Human likes doing, which I think is something everybody should be testing, is I'm going to try giving you 2 bags or 3 bags for the cost of 2 on a 3-month subscription, or I'm going to give you 6 bags for the cost of 4 on a 6-month subscription. So I'm essentially just using my own product. So the margin is actually cheaper than giving away flat discounts. But what ends up happening is you also start to attract customers that are interested in the commitment up front.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, not all, everybody goes and looks at software, right? Like I just signed up for like Claude and a bunch of other AI tools the other day. It's like, all right, well, I'm already know I'm going to be using Claude for the next year. So I'm just going to I'm going to prepay the annual cost. It's cheaper, right?
Sure.
As opposed to somebody else who's like, hey, I've never used this before. I'm not sure. I'm going to dabble with it. Now, as a business, we want both customers because we're trying to convert the dabblers and people that are new to it into that long time cycle. But when I have an offer that works for somebody who's already ready to commit, like those are the best subscribers to get. So that kind of model of going after that 1, 2, 3 month, and again, I'm oversimplifying this. It improves your AOV. So your average order value is going to go up because you have a higher, like you have 3 months or 6 months on there. Conversion rate typically goes up if you're doing it right. And then we're baking in LTV because anybody who's on a 3 month or 6 month or a 2 month and a 3 month subscription, I have never seen a monthly subscriber cohort retain better than a 2 month, 3 month, or 6 month subscriber frequency cohort.
Ooh.
Just haven't seen it yet.
Just a little bit of free sauce right there. Oh my god,
that was a lot.
Yeah, Matt, I am in the camp, and I'm trying to convince Chris of this every single day. I think all e-commerce brands should be subscription brands. I think in 2026, if you want to do e-commerce well, you need to have a subscription. You need to kind of look at it from SaaS multiples. VCs are going to really love you if you have a subscription because it's recurring revenue. They do. I've been singing this, and Chris keeps poo-pooing me. Now,
I will rain on your parade a little bit, Colin, to say this. I do think that it's for. I would say there's a large segment of brands that are either haven't done a very good job of doing it, and they need to try it again, or they're not doing it yet, or they should. There are a lot of products where forcing subscriptions, I do think sometimes has a negative impact on like overall conversions. So for example, if I'm selling like an air refrigeration unit and I want you to subscribe to the filters. Now I mentioned this big company that's doing like air filtration, water filtration. I think it can work. But the hard part is you're trying to get somebody to think about how they need to replace something in 6 months or 12 months from now.
Yeah.
Right. And so if I can lock them in, great. If I can't lock them in, I need to try to get them on SMS because then I can get them to, you know what I mean? You're going through that method. So I think there's a lot of ways to do it and people should be looking at it. And I will say this, every fast growing subscription brand we've worked with or that I even talked to, they think about what you're thinking. If I'm talking to a P firm, if I'm talking to a VC firm, they're going to ask me what my LTV is, and I can't get as good of LTV off subscriptions as I can with them. So we're going to go. That's what Groons has done, Instant Hydration, all these other new that are going really fast, is they're actually acquisition teams, and they know that subscriptions bake in an LTV offer.
Absolutely.
You know, Colin, you know, there might be something to this whole e-com deal for you. You know, you're a smart guy.
I know a thing or two about it.
Matt, go ahead.
I was going to say, how do you have those conversations with companies where you're saying like, hey, you're probably not the company that should be doing this? Like how do you evaluate that where you're like, hey, like I really love subscription. I just don't think this is right for your brand. It
comes down to like, you can evaluate just regular repeat purchase rates. So if you look at the business, like from a holistic standpoint, like, okay, what does your typical repeat purchase rate looks like? Right. And even if it's not around a month to 3 months, then it might not be a naturally like built-in subscription product. If it's longer than that, you could still do it. So the question just is then like, okay, where should your focus be? So every brand is trying to figure out how to get more customers, right? Because they feel like that's revenue. And brands often take chances on risks on things that might sacrifice LTV to get more people in the door, right? With aggressive discount and sales and things like that. So the question then is like, where's your best bang for buck from a time and dollar investment standpoint? If I'm selling something that maybe isn't necessarily naturally a subscription product, if I spend a little bit of time like trying to enable better repeat purchase experiences and how I educate people, I'm probably going to improve LTV better than trying to get them onto a subscription. Because what ends up happening, you start chasing your tail. It's like, okay, now I've got them on this, but now they're leaving. Now I got to try to get them to stay. And it becomes like this, you open a huge can of worms for yourself. Whereas it's like, hey, if I spend more time doing testing on my offer just to try to get regular sales, that actually might be better bang for my buck. I've never worked with a CRO agency. Let's go do that. Or, hey, what other products can I develop that fit in with these things? Again, if I'm selling like a fridge or an air filtration system, maybe I start selling a water filter that needs to be replaced every 2 weeks, right? Or something like that. So I think you start looking at like the broader picture of what else we can do based off of what our business is already doing and good at.
Matthew, tell me this. This is truly puzzling for me. I come from the school of marketing that is largely just philosophically, hey, clarity is king, simplicity is mastery. Find a few core messages that you can repeat that are going to resonate and drive straight to the add to cart, and let's get the thing done. When I look at a lot of the best performing in my world, the best performing subscription brands, I look at their product page and man, it is chaos. Yeah. I mean, it's, 43% crossed out plus 87% with free shipping plus 3-day XXX and these 12 free gifts. I mean, it's like chaos. Does chaos convert? I mean, I think they're probably doing that for a reason.
It does. I think what's kind of helpful is like if people know that they're thinking about a subscription offer. So here's the thing. One is you have plenty of people that are selling subscriptions where it's hard to tell that you're getting into a subscription. So, and those ones are really they're really aggressive. Like you have to uncheck something to see a one-time offer kind of page, a one-time offer thing. So those ones are not interested in making it confusing because they're just trying to get you to check out on the subscription, and then the rebill and stuff. They just work on onboarding you and trying to mitigate that drama. For everybody else, if you know you're thinking about it or evaluating it, it is a little counterintuitive. But if you think about it, it's like you're thinking about a bigger commitment. And so are we trying to get people to make the right decisions? So like if you're thinking about, hey, you're picking your flavor, you might be picking your, like say we were talking CBD, or you're picking your strength, or maybe, and then you're picking a quantity, and then you're deciding whether you want to subscribe or not, right? That's multiple chances of people to be confused or whatever. Yeah. But with subscriptions, we do see like when done well, you get people that are kind of curious or interested. And then we're, so some of those first steps are like, you're trying to self-select what you're interested in. And then boom, here's that really powerful offer. We're anchoring around the 3 month, right? There's a 1 month, 3 month, 6 month. We're anchoring on that 3 month to try to get you to feel like that's really compelling. And so it can be done really well. I like to think of it compared to like quizzes. It's like, sometimes those seem really, really ridiculous. And yet if somebody is willing to take a quiz and tell you their life stories about their back problem or whatever, so that they will buy your supplement, like that's, they're really interested in getting the right solution for themselves. So they'll spend more time doing that.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Do you have a blue ocean right now that you're looking at in the subscription world where you're saying I've seen all the subscriptions. Why isn't somebody doing this for this product? Whoever, just some operator comes in fully cracked out and can crush this.
Colin, the one that I think about, like if I had more time or if I met more like influencer type people, this is what I would build. So this is the subscription I've thought about for the last 2 years. Is I would build an accountability around a physical product. So say I'm selling protein powder as the simplest one, or let's actually take like Focus, like a mushroom product, Focus. I'm going to be marketing to I'm marketing to, 35 to 45-year-old men that are worried about how tired they are or overworked or whatever. And you're subscribing to this product that you're going to get daily, and then you're getting it opted into a daily text reminder that is both affirming and like supportive. You'll be in a Telegram or WhatsApp or Discord with everybody else that's buying from that, and it's influencer driven. So they're buying like some kind of course or community element of that. So I think that because here's what I've seen is every subscription brand I've worked with that has figured out how to communicate well with subscribers, and that's using SMS and email and like, postcards and stuff, that does it in a way that's both content driven and support driven, has great retention. And so I think that I could charge for that program instead of discounting a subscription. So here's our product. It's $50. You can subscribe and save for $45, or you can join our community and it's $55. So I actually could create a premium product that involves subscription that you're opting in to communicate with me regularly. So if I ever want to do drops or anything else. Anyway, so that's how I think about like that's what I would build, is something that has communication built in, community built in, and the subscription is actually a premium. It's not a discount.
Sauce everywhere.
I just need an influencer. If you're a sports influencer and you're trying to launch a product and you're listening to this, hit me up, because that's what I want to build.
I mean, Chris, that reminds me of Dad Gang so much with the Facebook community, like the way that they've built a community of dads.
Really so.
And it's so much further past just, hey, this is going to be a hat for dads. It's like, I'm a dad. I'm struggling right now. Like, I'm struggling. I don't know what to do right now. And it's so much harder to leave that community because there's so much value being given all the time.
And if you think about the power of AI and personalization right now, where as part of your onboarding, you tell us a lot of information about yourself, and now I'm surfacing content that's specifically for you who's recently divorced. And so you're worried about dating and time with your kids, as opposed to like me, who's like worried about, we didn't have a great Valentine's Day and how am I going to connect with my spouse again? You know what I mean? Like, so it's like that kind of like you can get really, really honed in on that as well.
Conversational data. That's come up a lot. Conversational.
That's a through line that Chris and I have heard a lot.
That is a through line. Matt, if you were on the stage at Sub Summit, right now, or in the coming months, etc., I'm sure there's just a few things in your pocket that you wish you could just hail from the heavens that everybody could take note of. And is there you got any like one couple of points that you just wish we all could get through our skull?
I'm so tired of the billing reminder debate, because I meet brands that are in other brand support groups, and brands are telling them to turn off their billing reminder communications. And they're doing that because it protects LTV, right? They feel like it sparks churn. And so what I would say to that is, that's stupid, because if you think about it, anybody who doesn't get reminded, it's a potential chargeback and refund situation.
True.
And often in chargeback situations, they will refund the entire life of the subscription, not just the last order. Okay, if the company found you were in fault. So that's an issue, which affects your card charge scores and your ability to capture payments in the future. CX issues and all that stuff. But the bottom line is, I run tests on this all day long. And my worst case scenarios is that sending the billing reminder is a little bit worse than not sending the billing reminder. That's our worst case scenarios. Now, when I invest in making that billing reminder on brand and reinforcing the reason you subscribe, and I'm including some upsell options and maybe a couple of quick action links for control, so you can adjust your subscription without even seeing a cancel button. Now I'm unlocking real LTV and better customer experiences. So people are so scared about that causes churn. Well, you maybe suck at what you've done with it. Like, you just sending the transactional. Well, yeah, it's like, I can't tell you how many times I've looked at account. It's like, hey, we're sending the default notification out of our subscription app, and it says we're about to charge your card, and then we're worried about why people are canceling.
Yeah.
Or you see another brand where it's like Marsmen is another beautiful one. Their email is like, it's all about like the next month of your mission. Like, and here you are, and like what you're working on and your goal and all this stuff. It's incredibly powerful. Why would I not want to build that?
Yeah. Shout out to Easy Street Brands and Zach over there. I mean, really incredible builders.
That's Easy Street. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, just a beast. They just hired, I think they just hired a CMO or a head of marketing.
They hired a new head of retention. I think Andrew, Chad was running that for a while. Yeah. Great brand. Great brand. And I can share that one. I could share that email.
Well, tell me, I mean, on this rebilling issue, don't you have to let them know? I mean, don't you have to? Isn't it a legal matter?
Yes and no.
We're playing in the gray.
Wow.
Well, I mean, people would argue that like there are certain states that have passed laws. The FTC has a law about this that's nationally, but there's still, you could argue, I could make the case how it's completely illegal not to do it, but there's still some gray area. I'm not a lawyer, so don't take legal advice from me, but there is still a gray area where of how they're looking at that, enforcing that. And realistically, the law is mostly targeting, or these laws are mostly targeting people that make it really easy to just subscribe and really hard to cancel. So if you think about like a digital membership or something like that, and you have to call to cancel, but you signed up online. Yeah. So there are one-click to cancel laws that are going in effect. And so it's just a matter of time. So it's only a matter of time before like people start getting more and more dinged for it, or what is it all the class action lawsuit people get on board and go after you for that stuff too.
Yeah.
Man, Matt, you have just dropped, I mean, nuggets of gold all over this time here. And I feel like, brother, you need to be on a number of stages in 2026. You need to be delivering this little mini masterclass that you have given us to many more people.
We do a ton of stuff. Like out here in Utah, we do stuff. We have conferences, workshops, and I'll be on some of the circuits too. So,
boy, man, we really go ahead.
Hopefully you convince Chris subscription first, because I've been trying to convince him for quite a while now. So I appreciate you.
There's not a better way to build a repeat purchase in than there is with a subscription.
There we go. We go.
If it's built for it, I'm here for it. So, and we really appreciate you making the time and coming on the show. Man, tell people before you go, tell people where to find you, where to lock in on your content, where to work with you if they want to.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go check us out at thesubscriptiondoc.com. That's our website that has a link to my Cal if you want to talk, links to the newsletter to subscribe. We do a weekly newsletter and podcast, or you can look for me on Twitter, Subscription Doc, LinkedIn, Matthew Holman.
Love it. Love it. Man, we appreciate you coming. We look forward to having you again. Will you come back?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
What a great mini masterclass he just dropped on us.
Hopefully you've now been indoctrinated into the subscription cult that I've been trying to preach to everyone around here, because it's the path, folks. It's the path.
It's the path. Well,
yeah.
Hey, I believe it. I believe it. And man, what a good guest he was. We've got to have him back.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, before we get to our last stories here, we need to talk about Postscript. You know, focus is an amazing thing, ladies and gentlemen. And just like Matthew is totally focused entirely on subscription, Postscript is entirely focused on your SMS. That's why they can get outsized results for you. On average, it's plus 22% in revenue for people that make the switch. It was a lot more than that for me. We went from making very little money on another platform to getting on Postscript, and inside of a year being a top 1% account on their entire platform. Qualitatively, quantitatively, it made me look like a genius marketer. Okay. And I got many pats on the back from my boss. Shareholder value, right? At the end of the day, if you go to postscript.io/SMS-benchmarks, what you're going to get is great alpha on my vertical, my revenue band, what's normal for me to be doing on SMS, and how can I get there if I am not. We really appreciate Postscript being part of the show. They can get outsized results for you because they are obsessed. They only do SMS, not the 5 or 6 or 7 higgledy-piggledy things that you're already doing SMS on top of with whatever other provider you are working with. Go to Postscript, talk with them, money up and to the right. Appreciate them being part of the show. Okay, last couple of stories here, Colin. And I think that as we transition to this one, I think we should tell people that our good friend James Camp, he's going to be on the show to talk about this more very soon. But I think that we should give people just a little teaser here before he comes, because he dropped what is incredibly helpful signal on how he is using the tools that are present and now to juice revenue for the underdogs in our space today. This comes to us from James Camp. 10 hours of work, $200 in tools will return $50K plus in revenue and would have cost $15,000 plus from an agency. And I did it as a favor for a friend. My buddy's wife is a nurse who wanted to start a fertility coaching business on the side. Over the past year, I've been giving her advice here and there. She's grown her Instagram to 12,000 plus followers and built it into 15 to 20K per month in coaching and product sales, all organic. But she was running off a very basic Shopify store, no email, etc. That's where about 99% of us would stop. She didn't need more followers. She needed to fix the foundation so that she could scale. He said, give me a day or two. Use Manus to redesign her Shopify, proper CRO, product pages, upsells, created a Claude project, fed it her past content, wrote 20 newsletters in her voice, pulled 10 examples from top coaches and e-com brands, had her pick the styling she liked, set up an agent that writes her weekly newsletters, and sends to her for approval. Welcome series, abandoned cart, all of the things. The tech stack, Claude projects, Manus, Klaviyo, Shopify, under $200 total per month. Her store conversion should almost double, should add another 2 to 4K in new revenue from email that did not exist a week ago. $200 tools, a little expertise, 10 hours of work, over 50K for her business in revenue. This is truly impressive to me. And this to me is a great example of this Ecom 4.0 era's the Superman marketer. The right person with the right tools can now juice performance in a couple of days' work and set somebody up to win in a way that they could not have several years ago. What's your take when you look at this?
Oh my gosh, I just want a Loom video of this just to ingest this.
Yes.
I don't even care if this is 3 hours long. I want to watch this whole thing start to finish.
I do.
This is the next level. This is, I think we entered e-commerce 2.0. This is now e-commerce 3.0. This is how this is moving forward. James is one guy with a Claude and Manus and just a little bit of expertise. Like he said, I think he's a little humble there. He's got a lot more expertise than that. He's had multiple exits. He's a very smart individual. And so maybe a little humble on that aspect of things, but you can really do some really amazing things just as a solo guy with a heart and some dreams, baby. That's all you need.
Little heart, little dreams, little heart, dreams, brains, and AI agents. And the thing that I just found out while we were talking here is actually he's got a free playbook for how he did this. And it's at the bottom of that tweet that we just showed. So everybody should go search James Camp on Twitter. Okay, find the tweet, go right underneath it. He's got a free playbook. I am going to put my information here as soon as we finish the show. I'm going to get it because this is what I want to do. I'll be honest, I'm really not set up like I'd like to be on Claude code and various other things right now, but I am getting better and I'm getting there. But I do feel as the powers surge into my veins, I feel it, man. I feel it. I feel what's possible. Yeah, here's the playbook right here that Carson brought up for us. Go there and get that playbook. And obviously, James, even if you're not a personal friend of his, you can work together at probably a much larger level. He can probably help you sell your business, I think.
Yeah.
Get you a nice exit that you would like. Okay, last story of the day. Meta's new patented AI tech? ? This comes to us from Raw's Alerts, which is a very interesting account. Breaking: Meta has patented an AI that can keep a deceased person's account active and running, posting, messaging, and video calling by replicating using their behavior from past data. Okay, the even crazier thing here is that there were posts about this 3 years ago in 2023. Okay, bring up this next one, Carson. This is a very popular old post on 4chan, which I have never frequented myself, but I find it very interesting, to say the least, that several years ago, there was a post about this, and it came up multiple times in the comments underneath this tweet. I'm a Meta insider and working on Project Lazarus. We're building an AI that can take over a deceased person's social media accounts and continue making relevant posts as if that person is still alive. This includes age, processed photos, interacting with other people's content, and everything else needed so that the person continues on in the digital realm after physical death. Now, you read further in the post, sworn to secrecy, etc., which is why he was posting anonymously. But I say all this to say, you can bring us back, Carson. I don't know what to make of this. I'll say this. I definitely don't want to be buying ads for non-living persons to click on. I don't think that's what I'm interested in spending my ad spend on. I don't know what the use case for Meta could be here. Perhaps this is a window into what many people have described as humans are no longer going to be buying from humans, but bots are going to be buying from bots. And this is what e-commerce will become: bots commenting on other bots' posts and buying things on our behalf. It seems like a little crazy and ridiculous. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I have no clue what to make of this. And I'm so confused on what the end goal is for this. because obviously there's really smart people at Meta, and they've probably thought this through. If that Reddit leak was real, they've been at this for 3 to 4 years. What is the end game here? I don't know what it is. Is it more user activity and data that they can pull from? Is it to boost user numbers? I really don't know. I think there's something deeper to this that we're not seeing at the surface level that they're working on, and I'm not quite sure what it is. I don't know. I don't know, Chris. What do you think?
And perhaps have been working on for years. I mean,
Exactly.
that's what it seems like. Perhaps they've been working on it for many years.
Yeah.
I don't know, but to those who would be skeptical, what I would say is that actually this is how we get news from Meta all the time. When something is wrong in the ad account, when some kind of metric is not tracking, when people's audiences have gone down the drain, we don't learn it from Meta. We learn it from people who are intricately involved inside the ad account, like David Herman and Rock Hladnick, who's going to be on the show later this week. It is these people that we actually learn what the news is, and then Meta will tell us 6 months to a year later. So I would just say that at the front for those who, this is like, conspiracy or whatever, I think there's probably likely something to this. I have no clue what it could be, but I'm not excited to run ads at deceased persons' accounts who are still somehow interacting on the World Wide Web. I don't like that. I don't like that
at all.
I don't like that. Seems like perhaps a waste, unless they've somehow got lots of AI bucks, and I will take their AI bucks if they're going to buy my product with that. So I'll say that. Many thanks to Matthew for joining the show. What an awesome masterclass he laid down for him. I cannot wait to have him back. Many thanks to Seguno and Postscript and AMP, partners of the show. We've got great guests coming up this week, and there's going to be more news from the ever-changing internet for us to cover and get into tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. We will see you on the other side.